Welcome back to the channel. This is the Action Figure Grader, and we're going to look at some recent sales for vintage Star Wars toys that sold recently on eBay, mainly auctions. And today's video is going to be only vehicles and playsets, mini rigs, die cast, maybe a dewback, maybe a creature in there, but everything is related to playsets and vehicles, really. And there were some really amazing items that sold mainly, again, at auction that I had to go through. Factory sealed examples, very, very tough to find type stuff, very much grade worthy. And so we'll take a closer look at some recent sales. So first of all, we're going to start off with maybe a little more collector friendly and then kind of work our way up to some of the more incredible items at the end of the auction, or at the end of the video, excuse me. This was a very tough to find Cloud City playset. This is just a display type piece with the backdrops, used contents, the original box that held the baggies for the figures. Unfortunately, all of the baggies were opened, and those are the 4 figures that came with the Cloud City playset for those that are curious. So you got Dengar, which I still don't know why. Maybe he was there. I didn't see him, or I don't remember him. But Dengar, Han Bespin, the Ugnaught, of course, and then Lobot. So 3 out of the 4 of those make sense to me. But I am not like an aficionado when it comes to knowing all of the intricate details as to who was where in the movies. But obviously the box was in pretty rough shape. A sealed example in really, really good shape can set you back quite a bit of money. This one, it doesn't show on here, but I think it sold for about $500 was the total. It might have been even less than that, but eBay does this thing sometimes where I pull it up after it sells and then the final sales price magically disappears. But I think it was around $400 or $500 was the final sales price. But really cool, interesting backdrop, something that you don't see pop up too regularly. And this was a good kind of just collector-friendly example. Next up, we've got the Death Star Space Station. Again, this is a collector-friendly example where the box was in decent to tatty shape. It's kind of on the good to decent side of tatty. You can see that one side had been eaten by probably some bed bugs or something. But overall, a very nice display with a complete Death Star Space Station playset. So there you go there. That one sold for $300, which I think is fair, given that just the toy alone complete goes for about that. And I'm assuming that it had the Dianoga. There's the Dianoga. There's the little swing for where Luke and Leia escape from the Death Star. Unused sticker sheet, I'm assuming. Let's double check that, make sure it's not repro. But it doesn't say, but it looks like it's probably a unused sticker sheet based on what I can see there. I don't know about the foam that goes inside the trash compactor, if that is in there or not. It looks like it may not have the foam, so keep that in mind. But in general, that's a pretty nice display piece for $300, including a somewhat tatty box. Here's the Rebel Transport. This one still had the sealed contents, so very nice example with a Rebel Transport. Another weird item that's basically a carrying case. I do have one of these, and you can kind of see it right there. I've got one. I've always loved that one. I don't know why, even though it's basically just a carrying case. But certainly one of my favorite scenes from The Empire Strikes Back was the Battle of Hoth, and obviously that Rebel Transport making it its escape boosted the spirits of the rebels as they fought to a loss against the Empire. But this one included the box, and the box was in excellent condition there. So very, very nice. There was also some Return of the Jedi boxes for the Rebel Transport. That one sold for $390, and Jay Bird had some incredible items that we'll get to in a second that he had at auction as well. But here's the Rebel Armored Snowspeeder. Now, this one was 100% complete with a sliding acrylic case, unused sticker sheet, sealed contents. The cardboard insert was in there. All of the instructions catalog. Unfortunately, the box was not in great shape, and we have documented a couple of these that have sold recently. I think we saw one over at Heritage that sold for big money. There was obviously a very high-grade example that sold over at Hakes for insane money, and I feel like this was a pretty decent deal at $306 in an auction, given that it was basically unused contents with a somewhat tatty box. Maybe you can upgrade the box at some point and send it in for qualified grading if you wanted to, but otherwise it's just a really nice display piece with the pink background on the box. Here is the Power of the Force Imperial Sniper, 100% complete. This is a very fragile and very expensive mini rig, and we'll have another mini rig or similar type items coming up in a little bit, but this one sold for $325, and again, that's a pretty tough mini rig to find that's not all broken to bits, but this one, it looks like it's complete. Let's see here, 100% complete, and it says very little wear, just a bit dusty. So that one did sell for $325 and a buy it now. This one was another one from Jaybird. This is the Land of the Jawas action playset, and I had this one in a what to buy video. One of y'all picked it up. I don't know who it was, but thank you for using the affiliate link. And that's another one that I never had growing up, but I always thought it did a pretty nice job of capturing some of the, it kind of mixed and matched some of the items from some of the scenes from the original Star Wars movie, with the landing of the escape pod, obviously the Jawas as well. But that one was in really nice condition for $190. That gives you a nice close-up of that backdrop. But I thought that one does a really nice job of portraying the Sandcrawler in an expensive format. The more expensive format we'll have here in a little while. Next up, again, going back to Jaybird, he had some die casts. Some of them are still at auction, the mint on cards, so we'll cover those in a different video. But this one is the Ywing, and it only sold for $270, and it was still sealed to the card, but the box was not in the most perfect condition. You can see lots of creases and things like that on it, probably about 70 grade condition. Again, going back to my what to buy video, I don't know where the bomb is for the Ywing, whether it fell out of a crack or if it was just never packed, or maybe it's stuck behind the actual die-cast Ywing fighter or not, but typically it shows, you know, typically it's to the bottom right here by the front of the actual die-cast, but I don't see it in the box, so not sure what happened to it. But this is a really cool die-cast, though, one of my favorites from the die-cast line, $270. We had the Imperial Cruiser. This one was also still sealed to the backer card with a somewhat tatty box as well, and that one obviously has the plug-in for the Tantive 4 that goes underneath the Imperial Cruiser. That one sold for $302, another very fair deal for that one. And then I thought we had, there it is. So this one is the die-cast TIE Bomber, and I got them a little out of order. This one was not sealed, but you can see very clearly that the yellowing to the plastic is pretty bad on this one, which is a common problem for the die-cast TIE Bomber. It's one of the rarest vehicles, and it's a shame that the wings and the front fuselage piece are so yellowed, because the actual die-cast portion of this is in actually pretty good shape. It's hardly any chipping at all. It's near mint minus condition. So maybe you could upgrade the wings at some point. That's an option, but I'm not sure if that little circular plastic fuselage piece pops off or not. Maybe it does, and you could upgrade that bad boy down the line. But you can see that even with the heavy yellowing, and it's not sealed, but it does include the very rare box and the blister, it's still sold for $687. So that's just a testament to how expensive the die-cast TIE Bomber is. In better condition with less yellowing to the wings, very regularly I see these sell for $800, $900, or even well over $1,000, just depending on condition. So that's about as cheap as you're going to find it, to be honest with you, at $600 or $700. It's just a very difficult piece to find, and that one did sell again for $686.99. We also had a Star Wars LP logo X-Wing. This was obviously used contents, so you can see the LP logo there. Stickers applied on this one. It did include the catalog as well as the box that was actually in really good condition. The box was in great condition. $265, not a bad deal at all for X-Wing with the long play logo Star Wars Racetrack box. And then again, going back to the Sandcrawler, here's the real deal. So this is a complete working radio-controlled Sandcrawler. These are very, very pricey. The interesting thing is that this one sold for $910 in an auction, And then someone got really angry that they lost, and they went and bought another one that was listed, which I did not pull up for this video, but it sold literally like 5 minutes later for $1,000. So I would wager that it was probably someone who lost or finished second on this auction and decided to go ahead and purchase the other one for $1,000. So $910, $1,000 thereabouts. They both included 100% complete contents along with the box. The box on this one was obviously in pretty rough shape, but it included the instruction sheet, the catalog, and it was advertised as working condition. So very, very cool to see that one sell. We've seen a lot of sand crawlers sell here recently on eBay. So maybe it's not particularly rare, but it's very desirable. High demand and rarity don't always go hand in hand. You can have something that's not that rare, but then it still sells for a lot of money because it's in demand. So it's a supply-demand thing. And I would put the yak face in that same category. A blue snaggletooth I would also put in that category of maybe not particularly rare, but the sandcrawler, I wouldn't call it as common as a blue snags or a yak face. But we've seen enough of these now on eBay that we know that they're not particularly rare. But to find one that's in working condition, it's just one of those pieces that people really love to have in their collection, and I don't blame you whatsoever for dropping $900 on this. This is a beautiful, beautiful sandcrawler and would look great on any display shelf. Next up was an Empire Strikes Back boxed Scout Walker. This one was unused contents. Well, was it unused? I don't know. It looks like the sticker sheets. I can't tell if that sticker sheet has been applied yet or not. It looks like maybe the stickers are partially applied. Yes. So actually, stickers partially applied, mostly applied, but it did include, the backer for it, and the Walker included the insert. Unfortunately, the box again was in pretty rough condition, so it looks like Jaybird must have gotten in a collection of different items that someone just sold off in a big lot to him, and he's selling them off individually. But $210, that's not a bad deal. Not a bad deal for the Empire Strikes Back boxed example for the Scout Walker. Obviously, the Scout Walker with the ESB box showed the Battle of Hoth, and then the Return of the Jedi version showed the Battle of Endor. So that one is a very nice example, though, for $210.27. Now we get into some other bigger items. We've got the Ewok Battle Wagon. That's always been very desirable among collectors. This one was unused contents. Again, the box was kind of rough shape. $701 on that one. And then the Tatooine Skiff, which I did feature in a What to Buy video a couple of weeks back. The price did not disappoint on that one, but I would argue that price was pretty fair at $1,300. This included the box. The box was in excellent, excellent condition, working condition, 100% complete with the instruction sheet. So that was certainly worth the money to me. I mean, you might find it cheaper without the box. We've documented a few on the channel that have sold $800, $900 in that ballpark, but with the box, especially a box in that kind of condition, $1,300 feels like a very fair deal to me. It's not a steal by any means, but it's certainly not a bad deal at all. Next up was the laser pistol. This one was still inside the box. This is the Return of the Jedi packaging for the DL-44 blaster. $260 on that one. Again, a very nice display piece in about 75 grade condition. We had the Droid's side gunner. That one was also unused contents, unused sticker sheet, planetary map, very nice looking box. $312 on that one, which actually surprised me because I've sent out, I know, a number of factory sealed examples for the Droid's side gunner that are in that $300 to $350 price point, and they would sit. People wouldn't be interested in them. And this one that had used or unused contents, but the box had been opened. It's not factory sealed anymore. That still sold for $312. So that's kind of an interesting dichotomy that I see sometimes with the side gunner. That's a very weird item, though, overall. Very weird box art. I don't know what's going on with that guy's face. But that one did sell $312. And then the Droid's Awing Fighter, which I think I also did feature in a What to Buy video. That one was used contents, but it did have the cardboard insert. The box was also, the outer box was also in excellent condition. And again, with the planetary map. And you can see there that the battery compartment was pretty much pristine, unused. $810 on that one. That's a great deal to me. I mean, the Awing Fighter by itself can go for that sometimes, or at least it used to. So I think to get it with the box, the cardboard insert, and the planetary map, $810, great deal there. And speaking of that patrol dewback, I did promise that at the beginning of this video, and here it is. This one is the collector series version, factory sealed. It did have some, clearance stickers, $6.90 clearance special on this one. $294 was the sales price for a factory sealed dewback. Probably in about 80 grade, maybe 75 grade condition, somewhere in that ballpark, but not a terrible deal at all. Mini rig, radar laser cannon. This one was factory sealed, $550. This is the head scratcher from the Toy Scouts auctions. I could not figure out why this one sold for so much money. This is the Return of the Jedi version as well. It's not the Empire Strikes Back version. And even the Empire Strikes Back version, I mean, we saw recently an AFA 80 example that sold for $300. This one was ungraded, but factory sealed, and the later Return of the Jedi version, admittedly in pretty pristine condition, but I'd say it's probably, an 80 plus grade? It's not even an 85 because it's got some edge wear around there. You can see there on that left corner, it's got some edge wear. So I don't know what happened on this one. This is one of those head scratchers that two people put in nuclear bids. Probably got it mixed up with maybe some of these later auctions that we're getting ready to look at. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know why that one sold for so much money. This is like a $100 item to me, maybe $150 max. So somebody really overbid on that one at $550. They also had the Deaba Action playset. This one also is the variant that has the Jedi training backpack sticker on the front. So that's just a slight variation for, and a $1 rebate also. So this is, it's got some staining, water staining to the box. You can see very clearly on the edges that this one was probably in somebody's basement, and the basement got a little bit of flooding going on, but factory sealed. But I don't want to see what the condition for that swamp foam, the foam that comes on this playset. I do not want to see what's going on inside this box, even though this one's factory sealed, just given the wear to the box and the fact that it does have water staining. So I would imagine that the contents are not pristine on this one. $859, that's probably too much. That's probably too much, in my opinion, given the water staining. You can see even some light water staining here on the actual stickers, and then on the right-hand side, it's got some water staining. So in my opinion, this one's an overpay as well. Maybe not as bad as the overpay for that radar laser cannon. I cannot say that. But that one did sell $859. Then we get on to some items that I'm not too shocked by the final sales prices. This was a factory sealed battle damaged Imperial Tie Fighter. This is a kind of a tough one to find from the Return of the Jedi line, and a very expensive one. This one was factory sealed, as I said, and it was in pretty amazing condition. You can see there it's got a faint vein in the upper left, but I still think this one pretty easily gets an 80 grade if you decided to grade it. And I gotta believe at these final sales prices that whoever bought them is probably going to grade this and flip it over. But $23.90, big number, don't get me wrong, but this one is probably worth it, to be honest with you. We've seen some AFA graded examples that have sold for 2x that number. So that one was a beauty. And likewise, here is the battle damaged X-Wing fighter, another massive price at $24.50 in an auction. But this one, you could make an argument it's probably even in better shape, factory sealed, absolutely stunning condition. And both of those were really, really nice. And you can see why those prices were what they were. Now, here's an interesting one. I was speaking with somebody with offline, and I noticed this as well. He messaged me, and I was laughing when I saw this sales price too, because this one was ending around the exact same time that the AFA 80 Plus was ending over at the Heritage May 4th auction. The Heritage auction sold, it was an AFA 80 Plus for the Imperial Shuttle, factory sealed. It was not qualified, it was factory sealed. This one was also factory sealed, but not graded. And this one ended up selling for more, even after the buyer's premium, than the one that sold over at Heritage. And again, they sold the exact same day. So I just find that really crazy. Now, is this one a really nice example? Yes. Is it an 80 Plus? I don't know. You got some scuffing there. I think it gets the 80 grade easily, but I don't know if it gets the 80 plus grade. It could, but I guess my point is that you're taking the risk, and you got to pay for the grading cost and the shipping to and from AFA for this, versus the one at Heritage that sold for, I think, $2,300-$2,400 thereabouts plus shipping. So, in all fairness, you do have to pay for taxes, sales taxes over at Heritage, but you got to do that here with eBay as well. So, all else being equal, to me, I'd probably buy the AFA 80 Plus instead of taking grading risk, but not everybody grades stuff, and I get that. So that one was certainly beautiful. This is a beautiful, beautiful example. I get the sales price, but just given those, and maybe some people don't know about Heritage or follow Heritage. That's also a possibility. But it's a testament to eBay's eyeball reach that they can get a higher price for a factory sealed, ungraded Imperial shuttle versus Heritage Auctions, which is one of the biggest names in the auction house business, to sell an AFA 80 Plus the same day. See, look, May 4th, this one ended May 4th, and the other one at Heritage ended May 4th. So they both ended the same day. So pretty wild dichotomy, but that's the way it goes sometimes. You just never know. You got to keep all of your channels open, your antenna up across not only eBay, but Heritage, Comic Link, Certified Link, Hakes, obviously. I mean, there are a number of different sales or auction houses out there where, sometimes you can find a better deal away from eBay. And I think this was a good example of that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at factory sealed, loose complete play sets, vehicles, die cast. It was just a really nice assortment here. Thank you as always for watching. Don't forget to leave me a like, and I'll be back soon.